Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next Boruto anime review. This one's going to be for episode 258. And yeah, this was an interesting enough episode. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's the Uzumaki family goes to the inn that we saw in a previous episode. This was the Mirai, Guy, and Kakashi episode. It was part of like an arc where they go around different like hot springs. And this was just like one of those episodes. This one had like 1010 in it as well. So, you know, if you want to get the full connections, you know, perhaps watch episode 108 before you watch this one. But looking back at that episode a little bit, I didn't notice like too many connections other than that like the location is the same. And then like if you needed to get a recap on what the sort of like basic story was behind why there's a ghost here in the first place, you get it from that previous episode. So interesting that we return to this place like literally 150 episodes exactly later. And look, it's cool. Like the setup for this is good. Himawari won this prize. We saw this a few episodes ago. Here they are going on the family trip. Kawaki is along for the ride as well. And it's basically just fun times at the inn. There's like a ping pong match, which is sort of cool because Hinata gets some lines of dialogue in this episode. She gets to team up with Naruto against the boys. Himawari is the referee. That made for a nice, you know, little kind of action type scene in the middle of the episode, including Himawari having to sort of scold the boys because Boruto especially knows not to mess with Himawari when she gets annoyed or angry, and we do even get a little Byakugan scene, even though she doesn't actually do anything with it, but it's just the threat that she might do something. So a lot of those fun things just because, hey, the show finally remembered that, you know, Hinata is an interesting character. Himawari is interesting as well. The main, like, significant character thing from the episode is mainly just, I suppose, Kawaki feeling like he maybe wasn't meant to go on this trip because he's not, like, properly part of the family. But they all come around and basically say, no, you have to come along. You are part of the family now. This is a family trip. You're coming along. And he ends up kind of really liking it. There's obviously a few moments early on where he's a little bit more, you know, he doesn't really know how to like relax and just have a little bit of fun. But he opens up a bit more as the episode goes on. You get the sort of scene where they're talking about the food and, you know, Himawari gives a sort of more neutral, maybe bordering on food critic level thing, and then Kawaki's response feels like full on like food critic about it. So that was somewhat interesting. The thing about the ghost was just that they do this sort of stamp collection treasure hunt thing to win a prize. There's like a trick behind the sort of mystery of each thing. There's not much to it. You know, Boruto's a little bit afraid of what looks like something kind of creepy, but Kawaki sort of like sees through it. You know, nice enough dynamic, but nothing particularly interesting. The prize ends up being like a commemorative photo, so the family gets their photo taken, which is kind of nice. And then when they're given it, just as they leave, right at the end of the episode, they see that behind Boruto and Kawaki in the photo is the ghost, and it's the same ghost from 108 as well. So, you know, if you watch that episode, you get sort of like, I suppose, why the ghost is there, but they don't really go into it there. Like, it feels like this episode, in a way, is meant to have like a follow-up dealing with the ghost, but no, we're going on to something different after this. So it's just meant to highlight, I guess, that we do have a haunted inn out there that has a ghost that messes with people, but doesn't seem like it's like incredibly dangerous, and that's really all that there is to say here. And that's the thing with this episode. It's fun. I like that they used the characters quite well. I maybe wish the episode had focused a little bit more on the like lesser used dynamics, and that they still very much focused on the idea of Boruto and Kawaki is the main thing in the episode, whereas I think I would have preferred maybe Boruto to be a little bit more in the background of this episode to allow Kawaki to maybe just have some time, maybe like Kawaki Hinata, Kawaki Himawari. Those type of dynamics would have been a little bit better. Or even to just like have Boruto and Kawaki even just be more in the background and focus on what Hinata, Naruto, and Himawari are doing. That's the highlight of like when you do these episodes that are not manga content, that are the more fillery-esque episodes, is that you utilize the characters who don't get the time in, say, the manga. Now, obviously, if you read the manga, you know that even notable characters don't get much time, like Sarada and Mitsuki aren't even in the manga that much. So, you have situations like that, but, it highlights that, some of the other characters, Hinata could have been used a little bit more, but it was fine. It was fun. It's not going to be anyone's, like, I suppose, favorite episode of Boruto ever, but it had some decent stuff to it. So from here, it looks like we're moving on to the next episode is dealing with Mitsuki loses his cat, like runs away or gets lost, and he needs to find it. He's worried, and I guess I'm not sure if we've seen this girl character before or she's new. I'm guessing she'll probably be new, and we'll deal with Mitsuki trying to get the cat back. So that could be interesting. It's at least it seems like it's giving Mitsuki a little bit of focus, and especially the idea of like Mitsuki maybe meeting and having a little bit of a dynamic with a new character, given that he seems like so laser focused on like Boruto is his main like friend. Like it would be interesting for him to have more dynamics with other characters, like they've touched on in previous arcs. Like we had the big Mitsuki arc with the sort of artificial kind of beings thing that was kind of good. Maybe we'll do something similar here with Mitsuki. So potential, but we'll see where we go. I tend to like when they do these kind of like groupings of filler episodes where they do kind of very different things episode to episode. So at least you have this variety compared to, say, like we're spending like 25 episodes in the Mist Village dealing with this thing in the Land of Water, and it's like, if you don't like this arc, you're gonna be here for half a year. Whereas at least here it's like, one episode, 1 week, one episode. You don't like it, you move on. You get something different the next week, and that's somewhat interesting. So that's basically everything I want to say. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts were on the episode. But that's been it. Thanks for watching, and bye.